call this a holy experience with a man and his coconuts. I've often felt like a visitor, born into a world as a rainbow baby. That's a baby that's welcomed after many miscarriages. I knew my parents always wanted me, but I never felt I fully belonged in this physical space. I lived across many countries in any given year, moving between boarding school in England, spending time with my parents in Nigeria, and frequenting the US for vacations. I enjoyed my travels, but I was never attached to anything. I always struggled to answer the simple question of where are you from? I didn't feel that I could give a simple answer. Where am I from is a question I constantly ask myself. Where is my home? What am I doing here? Many questions, so little answers. But I wanted answers, and that has kept me seeking and moving throughout my life. My curiosity made it easy to love to travel. Given this isn't my home, I might as well see as many places, meet as many people, and eat as much good food as I can whilst I'm here. I focused my life on experiences, not physical elements. That was my currency of happiness. My travels took me to India, and India was probably the first place I felt a connection to. I felt like I had been here before. I was pulled to spend more time in this country, and I made it happen. I got a job that would have me living in the south of India for 2 years, and I was determined to explore as much of the country whilst I was a resident. I met a man who was curious just like me and working on knowing who he was. I was intrigued with the workshops he was organizing. They were called Who Am I? They were located in Pune. I thought to myself, this is as good a time as any to figure out if these people can show me who I am. I paid for the workshop and planned my trip to Pune. The workshop pushed me in ways that really made me question why the hell I had paid for this. They asked us to look within, not my favorite thing to do. They asked us to question our identity. Why? Mine is fine. Can we do something else? They asked me to let go of what I thought I was. I figured I would be good at this stuff, but I could barely understand how the hell one lets go of their thought of themselves. I must admit, my brain was hurting through all this stuff. Then one afternoon, they had us do an exercise. It involved my lunch. Now, everyone who knows me knows I'm very attached to my food. Might be the only physical thing that can cause issues for me. We were to leave our phones, our wallets, and go out on the streets and beg and ask for food. We couldn't let people know this was an exercise, and we couldn't lie about why we didn't have money, phones, ID cards, etc. I went in a group of 3. I had 2 guys and me in my team. I figured, how hard could this be? So off we went. First, we spotted a lady with a young girl by a restaurant. And I confidently told the guys, listen, I'm great with parents. It's a skill I acquired from boarding school. So let me go up and speak to her to help us out with lunch. They agreed and off I went. I confidently went up to the woman and gently said, in the best English accent I could muster, excuse me, miss, would you be able to help me? As I was trying to explain myself, I could see the disgust in her face and her literally backing away from me. She kept questioning why I was there. and why I was trying to scam her, and that if I didn't get away, she would call the police. I was in shock. Me, Uche, an MIT grad, working as an executive at Microsoft, being treated so badly by this mother. I'm great with parents. I couldn't believe what was happening. I couldn't show her any proof of my pedigree, and in the absence of that, she got more and more angry and was convinced I was a thief out to get her. As she ran into the restaurant, I was frozen in the very spot I was standing. I couldn't believe what just happened. Before I even had a chance to collect myself and move on, she'd returned with the manager of the restaurant, and now they were both threatening to call the police if I didn't immediately leave the premises. I don't remember how I even mustered up the strength to move my feet, but I found myself stepping away quickly and apologizing for any inconvenience under my breath as I left the parking lot of the restaurant. I was speechless. The two guys had watched everything but had no idea what was going on and being said. I could barely speak because I was in so much shock. She was a mother. I figured she would feel sympathy for us and help us. I've never been so wrong in my life. I was in a daze, and time for lunch was running out. This exercise felt harder than getting into MIT. I was starting to worry that I wasn't going to eat lunch, and that made me really scared. My confidence was shot. I mean, I'm great with parents, but without my identity or words to prove who I was a nobody, not even worth speaking to with dignity or worth a helping hand. And as I was feeling sorry for myself, the man with a cart of coconuts was passing by us. One of the guys asked him if he could spare us one coconut as we were hungry and had no money to eat. This man, as poor as they come, looked all three of us in the eye and, no questions asked, proceeded to break open one coconut for each of us. We were willing to share one coconut for all three of us. And instead, this man gave us a coconut each. He asked no questions. He treated me, clearly a foreigner in his land, as if I was one of his family. The shock was again too much for my system. But this time, I broke down crying uncontrollably. Here was a man, clearly with very little, showing me a level of kindness I had never experienced. We didn't speak the same language. He never knew who I was and never cared, as that was not relevant. He did not ask for anything in return. He gave freely, and we all drank our coconut with grace and in silence. This man was truly rich. I learned a lot from this experience. I understood true kindness knows no boundaries. You don't need to speak the same language or need an excuse or explanation to be kind. Even if you don't know people's circumstances, you can still choose to be kind. This man broke open my heart with his coconuts in a way that had not happened before in my life. I truly saw God that day through this man. It was a holy experience. And for the first time in my life, I put my hand together, bowed before this man, and said the words, Namaste. and I truly meant it. I still feel like a visitor, but this experience in India has remained with me all these years and helped me know that there are people in the world that have shown me what it feels like to be seen and to belong. Thank you.